Hey guys, this is Travis with Beyond Bipolar blog. So, my brother came across this motivational speaker called Mel Robbins. You may have heard of her. She's not related to Tony Robbins, but the video that he wants to react to is my husband has been scared to admit he may be struggling with depression. So, let's get to it. You don't even have to speed it up. Just make it big though.
Chris, I think you should document the whole process that you're going through to get evaluated for whether or not you're suffering from depression.
Turn the video on for the whole time?
I don't know that you need to take people into your therapy, but you've been living with a dark cloud over you for a decade. And you've had a really hard time climbing out of the shame that you feel for having had the restaurant business not be successful like you had hoped it would be, or return the investment for your investors that you had hoped it would. And I think that there's a lot of people.
My family how I anticipated.
Right. And I think a lot of people are scared to go talk to somebody about whether or not they're struggling with either depression or anxiety or anything. And
myself included.
Yeah. And so I think if you were to be willing to make videos about what you're learning, about what the doctor said to you, about the symptoms that you feel, if you try meds, what you experience, I think it would be hugely helpful to people. It would destigmatize it. It would, you might find that you don't have depression in the clinical sense. You're just a downer of a guy.
Just Debbie Downer through and through, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That it's in my molecular structure to be half empty.
Yeah, you're like they shouldn't have named you Christopher Robbins. They should have named you Eeyore.
I'm deathly afraid of earning that moniker.
I guess you married Tigger, huh?
I don't want to be Eeyore.
Well, then get help.
Well, I am.
Why is it that you are so confronted by talking to a freaking doctor about whether or not you're depressed?
Well, I am going to talk to a doctor, so I'm moving through the confrontation. But
explain why you feel.
As you just pointed out, there's a desire to, I don't know, just believe that I'm okay.
You are okay. It doesn't mean you're not okay if you have depression. It just means you've got something that you deal with. That's it right there. You think there's something wrong with you.
Oh, definitely.
There's nothing wrong with you. Do you think there's something wrong with you when you have a pimple? Or when you have a stomach ache or diarrhea? Or no? Do you think there's something wrong with you if you are introverted? No. You have the opportunity to potentially experience more joy and lift the cloud that has been over you. And we're going to find out from a doctor whether or not it's depression or something else. I look at this like, thank God. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you knew what you were dealing with instead of just beating yourself up all the time? All right, well, we were at our daughter's workplace and we got to bring her something to eat. So you better put in the comments. Do you want Chris to take you along on his journey? Please tell us in the comments if that would be helpful to you, because I think it would empower him to really open up and share what he's going through. Love you. High five.
So I wanted to mention,
this is a full 3 months of food without needing any refrigeration.
I watched quite a bit of her videos. She's a pretty good motivational speaker and has pretty good advice, especially when it comes to mental health. She developed the 5-second rule where if you're feeling a certain way or you don't want to wake up or you don't want to do something, you just count 5 back to you basically count backwards 5 seconds, and when you do so, it kind of flips your brain to not thinking whatever negative thoughts. So Anyway, I remember she did a video about her husband saying that she was going also broke as well. She lost her business doing a talk show, doing multiple things because of the COVID, and he wanted to open a restaurant business, and apparently it affected kind of the family that they definitely had marriage problems about it. So I guess I could see why he's really depressed. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. You can kind of tell he's pretty down about something. I wanted to talk about this video because it's pretty much, I don't know, what's your opinion on
You know,
on
if
her?
we go through the comments, they're pretty negative. If it's his personal journey, given that there's a lot to process and the need for privacy, my initial answer is no on the videos for now. Adding videos could be a bit much. Let him breathe. I want Chris to do whatever he decides. It should never be what will be interesting to us. He should share as much as he's comfortable with. Chris, you should do whatever he's comfortable doing. Mel has to deal with the dimension of her husband that could be difficult, which could have triggered a response for him to get help. While I appreciate Mel's enthusiasm for helping others, I can't help but think of saying you have to help yourself before you can help others. Please allow him the privacy he needs to do that.
She's kind of bullying him into speaking about mental health. I don't know. I think she's right. I think it's important to be honest and open, but
maybe it's not appropriate to do it on the camera, though, if he's not really... He looked pretty uncomfortable talking about it on camera. Just the way he was wincing, just the way he was, heavy breathing. It seemed like he was really uncomfortable with the topic and he didn't want to admit it. And Mel kind of was probing him to answer that question. He really didn't appreciate it, I don't think. What else? I think that's pretty much it. I don't know what else Kyle wants to add to it. It was kind of a short video.
Well, what's your opinion on forcing someone to get help?
Well,
like same with smoking when you did that with Nancy.
Yeah, so there was this issue. So basically, I was trying to force my friend to quit smoking. So I told her a lie, and I said I'd pay her $1,000 to quit smoking. So I told her that would never happen in the end. And then she got really mad at me, and we are no longer friends for the last 2 or 3 years.
It got pretty bad, you guys, because we already posted a video about it in our Duo X Fitness, which is kind of defunct right now. But basically, my brother and I had a huge fight because I was pissed that I thought it was just dumb. He's giving away $5,000 because in the end, there's no way she's gonna not stop smoking anyway. So they were arguing and yelling in Planet Fitness, and it almost got us kicked out because everyone was looking at us, and I was really irritated. And Tress didn't like the fact that he just didn't let me give him the $5,000. But
you can encourage someone to stop doing a bad behavior. You can encourage someone to get help, but that doesn't mean you should force them to get help. That doesn't mean you should tell them to get help. It means you gotta let them decide on their own. You gotta let them to make an effort to take the responsibility to do it on their own. You can't force something. Like, you can't force a drug addict to quit doing drugs. They gotta be at that point in life where they're just tired of it and they want to get help and they feel there's a benefit to getting help. You can't force someone to do something, and it's inappropriate for Mel, who is also a media personality, to try to get her husband in the spotlight because the way he was acting, he was definitely probably not comfortable with it.
I also wanted to bring up the fact that we were talking about friendships. My brother, I feel like there's a reason why people don't want to be around us because it's his behavior and his antics, i.e. like doing that smoking thing, and that's what I was kind of allude at. He's a destroyer among men. That's my opinion. And now he's going to try to heal it because we're going to talk to the mom.
Yeah, so we're basically talking to the mom of Nancy. I don't know if
Tell her what the mom said to you about the smoking. Also.
So basically the mom said, this is why I don't want to tell her to quit smoking, and then she wouldn't want me to be her mother. So she's definitely afraid to admit that.
Well, now let's talk about your own experiences when Nancy's trying to get you to go to the therapist. And
yeah, I hate to say it. It was hell for Nancy to force me to get help. I was literally on her ass when I told her it wasn't working, that it's never going to work, that the only reason why I get on meds is for me to be in a relationship. And in the end, I ended up getting help myself because I was at that low that I had to do things for myself. But in the beginning, I was doing it for someone else, and that's totally inappropriate. You can't do shit for someone else. You got to do shit for yourself. And if you can't be at that position where you can do that, maybe you're not at that point in time in which you can decide to do something for yourself. Maybe you do need a little bit more space. Maybe you do need to crawl on your stomach a bit until you can actually walk on your feet. Maybe you do need to sense that negativity. Maybe you do need to be in that darkness in order to see the light.
I honestly think Mel's probably irritated because I guess I could see it from her perspective too, where someone's always downer and it kind of brings her down and she doesn't like it. So I guess that's kind of the reason why I did those mental health videos with my brother, because
some people hate it. There's this video that went really viral on my previous channel. Is like me going through psychosis,
and people didn't like it,
and having this spiritual faith because people thought that my brother was intruding in my space.
I was irritated that he acted like that. I was trying to push him to. It's annoying when he does that stupid shit, but I can see Mel's frustration being in a marriage and someone just wants to sit in their own shit. But this is why I thought this was a really good video, because I think, even me, I've been in that hole too, and I'd rather just not get out of it. And I guess it makes things more complicated when you're married because you have expectations. So I think it's really difficult. One, I think it is very important to talk about it, but only if you're comfortable about it. It's his own journey. I do 100% agree. I think she might be taken a little bit too intensely and slightly the wrong way, maybe disrespecting him in a little way, I feel like. But I'm sure she experienced depression itself, but she already loaded the video. It already got a bunch of likes. Yeah, it can help people with the journey about getting help. But I think he should be making the videos himself, not Mel kind of forcing it on him. Especially for
it's really hard to encourage someone because it also sounds like a command, and it's very hard to encourage someone when you're frustrated, when you are angry. You want to spit in their face to saying do this, do that, but in the end, it's really up to them, and you can't force someone to do something. It'll never work.
It's really difficult, you guys. So in the end, I guess you still got to give someone their respect, give them their space. Obviously, there's probably more issues going on between there might be more issues going on between their marriage. But if she seems more like an alpha male. He seems more like the beta male, I guess. And I'm pretty sure he just, since she's like really successful or was, and he doesn't feel that successful, perhaps that could be it too. But I mean, she was a lawyer, and then, but she had struggles with getting. She is also in a lot of debt too, so I guess it's difficult. I'm sure maybe the husband forgives her for doing this video, but I think it's a bit too inappropriate. I feel like he's pushing her. He'll have to make his own channel, I feel like, and not use it to capitalize the views for her channel and her intentions.
I don't know. It's kind of a short take on that. We have a pretty valid position in what we think should be done with this video, and the fact that she needs to let him live his own life, his own journey, experience life in his own shoes. You can't force someone to do something, and it'll never work. So is there anything else you want to add? It's probably going to be a short video. But
yeah, he will affect a lot of people, but in the end, it's still his own journey. Again, he was uncomfortable, and I guess the majority of the
it goes to show the majority of people who first experience mental health issues don't want to admit it. Don't want to take the steps to take action.
Especially like a drug addict, a person that exhibits bad behavior. They don't want to.
Even I admit I do something wrong when it comes to this.
You don't take criticism either. That's why you go react when someone criticizes you. You blame your bipolar, but this is actually a really common issue. I feel like I actually think it's good that it's brought up, because It's a relationship thing. It takes two to tangle, and
There's definitely.
I'll be honest, I don't think a doctor can help, but it's not going to be the go-to because deep down, it's something that you got to
Just
figure out
because a
yourself.
doctor tells you you're depressed doesn't mean you're going to listen.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean he's going to go on meds, and it doesn't even mean that it's going to help you in the end, but it can help. And it's
You have to be
important
willing to get the help.
It's 70.
You got to be willing to receive the help.
Because you can't expect the doctor to cure you. That's my opinion, but it's still important to talk about it. Perhaps there's other things that he doesn't want to tell Mel that he didn't want to allude in order to make her triggered, maybe. But I do respect.
There was
Mel.
tension between them.
I like her. I do like her. She has more of an intense, aggressive way when it comes to tackling issues.
I don't like that.
But.
Not saying I like a submissive woman. I don't like the fact that she's critical. I'd be really annoyed by that if like my brother says, tell me you should tell someone about your bipolar in the beginning. Would I really care? No. Don't want to even admit it.
But now you don't care though,
because I learned to accept it. He's not at that point of accepting his illness, if there is one. If he admits there is one.
So in the end, we still wish him the best. I do like watching her videos. She does have really great advice. I do listen to her quite often. I like the 5-second rule because basically you can just switch your brain off with a thought. And thoughts do sometimes mostly create your reality. And if you just stop it, if you feel like crap, or if you don't want to do something, give yourself 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get up. And just do the thing you do, and it kind of snaps yourself out of it. Your brain basically... I don't remember what part of the brain, the hippocampus, amygdala. I'm not a brain neurosurgeon, but anyway, it kind of clicks your brain off, and it's a good.
It clicks on the fight or flight, and the guy's pretty much doing flight.
And she made a good book about it. I think she is right. It could help a lot of people, but in the end, it's still up to him, and I guess it's her willing to accept that, and it's kind of disappointing when. I imagine the most disappointment is when you have a son or daughter that's into drugs and they can't get themselves out of it. That's really hard.
We know many people
that's got to be a ton of disappointment, stress on the person. And I know the drug addicted probably realizes there's a lot of guilt and shame.
What do you tell someone when they say they're suicidal? You try to help them out, and then they backtrack to drugs. It's like, what else can you do to help them? They gotta
give them money because they might use it for drugs, and in the end, they have to just figure out themselves. That's probably the
some people always get stuck being stuck. That's the problem.
That's the number one thing. You can give someone advice, but it's like talking to a brick wall. Sometimes they have to struggle. They have to go under a crisis themselves and figure out themselves. So in the end, you can't baby someone.
And in the end, if they commit suicide, it's not your responsibility. It's a choice they made. Whether you agree it was good or bad, which most likely I think you would believe was bad, but you have no control over that. And so you should try to feel less guilty over that for the fact that they did make that choice.
Mel, I totally understand your frustration with your husband, though, where you wanted to go big and make these massive changes, but your husband just wants to wallow. But in the end, maybe he just needs that time to wallow a little bit. I mean, it sucks trying to make a dream restaurant and it not doing well, and not making money from your investors, and it sucks. But I understand. I think he needs to cope with it, understand it. I don't think he needs to see a doctor.
He is not right now processing it.
I think he needs to see a therapist, not a doctor. I really do believe meds aren't 100% fix. Sometimes it's just a situation. I actually see this more as a slight situation, no issue. I mean, he still obviously hasn't grieved the loss of his business, and he's probably lost himself. He doesn't know what to do with his life, while his wife is basically achieving a lot of big things.
So from her point of view, she's a success coach, and she believes tackling the issue right at hand. He, on the other hand, wants to avoid the issue. He, on the other issue, doesn't want to accept the issue. So there's these two conflicts that are happening. I don't think it will get resolved right now. He has to make that decision, like I said before.
It's like with my brother and I, when he was depressed and acting all irate. In the end, I can't control what he does. A friend of mine was mad that he was kind of harassing Dad as a joke about this gay guy wanting to hook up with my brother, and I don't know if his intention was really to be mean or not. Some people didn't like it. Deep down, I found it funny, but I just didn't want to deal with the fact that people got offended by his antics.
Talk about it.
Nothing I can.
If you want to talk about it in this video, we can.
It's nothing that I can do about it. So he's gonna.
So there's this guy there's this basic guy that messaged me on Facebook saying that he wanted a forehand massage, and
you don't have the pulse.
He said he was gay and a previous teacher.
Keep talking about it.
So, anyways, I made a joke because, you know, Kyle and I aren't the best looking, but we do attract a lot of gay people.
Because we strip off our clothes and we're pretty handsome and ripped, and gay dudes love that.
We are not that attractive, but according to gay people, we are. So this is why they hit on us. No, it's in messages, not a...
No, I don't want to show the...
No, I deleted them, though.
You deleted them or privatized?
I privatized. I don't know where they're at, though.
They're down here. All right, just give me a moment. I'm just trying to find it. Travis could do some obvious cuts here.
So anyways... He's just trying to find the post of what the guy said. And
no, my brother made a whole bunch of videos about it. And maybe we can react to a little bit about them since this video is so short. So we'll just put 2 in 1.
I deleted them also.
Oh, you deleted them or you privatized them? Well, maybe you could just watch the video. Did you save them anywhere? Or?
On YouTube.
So my brother's just gonna go to YouTube and we'll get you catch up to speed. Or do you want to do this as a separate video?
Yeah, let's do it as a separate video. We'll do it. All right, we'll do this another time.
Stop this one and we'll just do it now.
All right, bye.